Did you know that Uranus is the only planet in the solar system that spins tilted on its side? Yes, Uranus has to be different, of course. And some may say that's pretty cool, and others may think that's weird. But here's a question for you. Would you rather be like Uranus and stand out and be different, or would you rather be like the other planets and blend in? So this is what you're being asked at this time with this Jupiter-Uranus conjunction. Hi everyone, I hope you're all doing well and welcome. Thanks for joining me. I'm Lisa. So today we're going to be talking about the Jupiter and Uranus conjunction. This is huge. This is probably the biggest transit that we're having for this year. It's a 14-year cycle, so this is setting us up for a new 14-year cycle, and the last time this happened in the sign of Taurus was back in 1941, which was I think about 83 years ago, so a long time. So this is happening on the 21st degree of Taurus, so look at your Taurus house, because this is going to play a huge impact and punch to that house. So if, for instance, you're an Aquarius rising, it will be happening in your 4th house. And so this could, over the next 14 years, really be bringing you a sense of real belonging, of a home, to really feel settled somewhere, or even expand your family, because Jupiter expands as well. And you may have been experiencing, because Uranus has been in Taurus now since 2018. So whatever house Uranus is in for you, so your Taurus house, over the last 6-7 years, there would have been a lot of changes that's happened, maybe even unsettled changes. Some may be good, some not. And now it's about realizing what it is that you want. So if it's in your 4th house, it will be, well, I've had lots of changes within the home or people that I live with, and now I'm more clear of what it is that maybe I want. And with Jupiter conjuncting Uranus, it will start to bring you that in. And so it could be that you're expanding your family. It could be that you're expanding your home, or you're finding that home. But something that really resonates with you. There's something that's going to really bring you some joy. And, when you think of Uranus, okay, it's interesting because Uranus is the co-ruler of Aquarius. And when you think of Aquarius, Aquarius is a fixed sign. Aquarius is the rebel. Okay, you don't associate Aquarius with being fixed, with wanting the same. But the way I look at it is Uranus is fixed in the terms of our authenticity. Uranus shows us our authenticity. That's why he represents in the sky, the only one that tilts on his side, because he's different. He's different, and he's not afraid to show who he is. He's not afraid to show his quirks and his uniqueness. So there's something about who we are on a soul level that can't be changed. And so no matter how much we may resist change, that authentic part of us will always come knocking and say, hey, hello, I want to have some fun. Okay, and that's a very fixed energy in terms of we can't change who we are. We can't change the essence of our soul, of who we are. And that's what Uranus fights for. He fights to be seen, to be heard, to celebrate the differences that we have, not to conform. And so it's a fixed energy in another way, not in a stubborn way, not in a way where that he's not open to change, but to say that there are some things that we cannot deny. We cannot deny who we are. Jupiter is the sign of freedom. So is Uranus. They both represent freedom. And when we think of it in the sign of Taurus, Taurus is a earth sign. it's about what we can bring on a practical level, tangible, into the physical. So what kind of things could we be bringing into the physical? What changes could we be seeing, say, on a collective level? Now, I'm not a mundane astrologer, but Uranus and Jupiter in Taurus, Uranus rules things like science, technology, AI, UFOs, astrology, aliens. Why aliens? Because it's alien to us. It's unfamiliar. That's what Uranus rules. It's the unfamiliar. So it's on a personal level. It can also be the unfamiliarity of being able to be ourselves. And in society, it's unfamiliarity of what's not deemed as normal. And so maybe we're going to see more sightings of things like UFOs, or some form of aliens, whatever way, you want to think of that. And also space, space travel, because Jupiter's the traveler and the adventurer, and Uranus is space, technology, science. And so we may even be hearing a lot more about space travel, something that we can actually do in the physical. But on a personal level, this is asking you, what is freedom to you? What really is freedom? Uranus is here saying, if you don't know yourself, if you're too scared to step out and spin on your side and show people who you are, then what does everything else mean? What does it matter? How can you fully enjoy it when you can't even be you? And Jupiter there is saying, I'm all about the truth. If you're not showing up that way, guess what? I'm going to hold a mirror in front of you and I'm going to show you who you are. And so everything in our external life is a reflection of what's going on internally. Whether we like it or not, we may not like certain things that are changing because, again, it's unfamiliar. And sometimes whatever is unfamiliar is going to make us feel unsafe. And we have to be able to let go in order to bring in what it is that we want and for change. So Uranus is that energy that represents we should never change to fit in or to feel accepted or to feel loved, and that we can be by being ourselves. And everything that then aligns with us is done in truth. This reminds me of a couple of years ago. I was at a pub, and I was having a drink with a friend, and next to us was a table of two men. And throughout the night, they got talking to us, and I was a bit curious, right? Not in a judgmental way at all, but I was curious because these two men, they seemed like they had a really close bond, like a really lovely close bond, like a very close brotherly bond, and like you could just tell they knew each other very well. They looked like they'd known each other their whole life. But one of them, he was in his mid-30s, very smartly dressed, good-looking guy, quite, very well presented, well groomed. He, the easiest way to let's just give you a visual, okay? This will be easier. He looked like Tom Ellis from Lucifer. Okay, so he looked like Lucifer, right? And the other guy, he looked like a Danny DeVito. All right, so you get my picture. Okay? I was curious, how they knew each other and what their relationship was. And so it turned out that they were really good friends from school. So they had known each other for years. And so I'm just going to call, so you know who I'm talking about, Lucifer, okay? He went to the toilet, and when he was in the toilet, Danny, he said to me that Lucifer's like this great guy, the most amazing friend, and just a top guy. And he said, like, he does everything for me. Like, he looks after me, and he's always like giving me money and doing things for me. And I always tell him like no, and like people don't appreciate him and they don't see what he's really like. He then said he's got all these businesses and he owns all these companies, and he said, but don't say anything. Now, just to let you know, Danny was a bit drunk at this time. And he said, like, don't say anything, because he doesn't really like people knowing, because he's like quite humble and doesn't want everyone knowing. Okay, so I didn't know like what to believe exactly, but I was just like, okay, yeah, fine. So anyway, Lucifer comes back and Danny turns around and says, oh, I was just telling him like what a good friend you are and everything that you do for me. And he said, and then a bit later on, he said, oh, I told them that you own this shop and this company and this, And he was like, oh yeah, like, yeah, I've got a few businesses, Then throughout the night, more and more came out, and he was more comfortable sharing about everything. And he basically said that his dad, who was a respectable businessman, he always put him down. And he always said, you're never going to amount to anything, and like, just always like criticizing him. And so he worked really hard, and he ended up getting his own business from a very, very young age and doing really well. And when he made his first million, his dad was like, you're going to have to like do better than that, like it's nothing. Now, his dad didn't even reach that wealth, even though he was successful. And so he felt like it wasn't good enough and he had to work harder. So anyway, towards the end of the night, or talking with them throughout the night, I could tell there was a lot of pain there, and it was very genuine. It was very heartfelt. I could feel it. I work with people. I know I can read people very well, and I can feel it. I can feel someone's energy. And he never felt really appreciated, and he never felt really seen. And he had said that, a lot of his family work for his companies and they take advantage of him. They don't turn up. They want pay rises. And he just gives them all what they want. And part of that is to feel accepted, that he is a nice person, because everyone judged him for other things that he had done in his life. And he just felt that no one really knew who he was. And so at the end of the night, when we went to leave, his friend went to go in his car and drive home, and Lucifer jumped in front of the car and said, you're not going, like, you can't drive, you're drunk, you've had too much to drink. So his friend was like, yeah, like, no, you're right. And so Lucifer called him a taxi to take home and said, make sure to the taxi driver you get him home, that he walks through the door. And he told his friend, call me when you're home. Lucifer said to me, a couple of years back, he said his friend, Danny, was in a car accident. And in that car accident, he suffered brain damage. And so he wasn't, and I could tell there was something that wasn't quite right, but he'd been drinking as well. And he said, and since he had the accident, a lot of his family haven't really bothered with him. Like, they check in on him time to time, but none of them really look after him. And he said he's the only person who has ever, appreciated me and like cares about me. He's the only person I can really be myself around. He's the only one who has never, ever wanted anything from me, like, ever. He said, so what I do is, he said, I go to his house every couple of days. I make sure his fridge is filled up. I make sure he's got everything he needs. I check in on him to check that he's okay. He's like renovated like his apartment, and he said because he's my one and only good friend, the only person I can actually trust. And so, long story short, the point of this story, which is what I was thinking about, is that by the end of that, he had said that he had a decision to make and that he wasn't happy, and that he had spent many years feeling in a depression. And the decision that he wanted to make was going to affect his family and change a lot of things. And but he wasn't happy and he didn't know what to do. And he had everything, he had everything that he could ever want. He had enough money to retire, but he wasn't. He spent his every day, from morning till night working, trying to keep up with these companies, these businesses, all because he wanted to prove to his dad that he could do it, that he is somebody. And what he was now realizing was that in order to be right, he sacrificed his happiness just to prove something. And it's that saying, isn't it, of do you want to be right or do you want to be happy? Where are we choosing to be or do certain things because it's what we think family want or society want, or what we have told ourselves is right, or even our own limited beliefs? Sometimes it's not even externally outside of us. It's something that we've just been conditioned to in a way where we've told ourselves that we need to be in a job that earns X amount of money or has this status, or be in a relationship with someone that our family approve of. Whatever it is, where have we tried to be right and sacrificed our happiness to believe that when we were doing what we thought was right was what was going to make us happy, because we knew that's what was going to keep us safe? So it asks the question of, where have we sacrificed our soul's calling for the feeling and need of safety, which usually means to fit in, to fit in. Be the change that you want to see in the world. It starts with us. We're the players, we're the players in the game. If you want to see a different world, be it. So don't forget, everyone, tilt on your side, show who you are, bring your gifts, bring your uniqueness, trailblaze who you are into this world, and you will, without a shadow of a doubt, you will be rewarded. Good luck with this transit, everyone, moving through this, and I send you all so much love.